Hey guys, how's it going? It's Tori. I'm back with another video. This is gonna be, obviously from the title, it's another tattoo video. What the fuck did I just do with my hands? I don't know. When I was getting my first tattoo, and honestly every tattoo I've ever gotten, I binge watch a ton of videos before I go. I guess it makes me feel like I'm more prepared, and one of the things that honestly I couldn't find a lot of was getting tattooed overseas or like on a trip. If you haven't watched my last video, I got tattooed in Korea, my first few tattoos, and I think pretty much all my tattoos are from Korea, which is very far away from Canada where I live. Getting tattooed in a place so far from home is a little bit scary, especially intimidating because you don't speak the same language as the tattoo artist, at least for the most part. Obviously there are exceptions, but for the most part, or even like the products that you use to heal, something that a tattoo artist may recommend here is different than what they would recommend in a different freaking country. That wasn't on my list of things, but I just wanted to share. This video is pretty much gonna address anything that I had questions about before I got my tattoos but couldn't really find much of online. There were certain things that I just couldn't find. Just couldn't find anywhere. If you're looking for some tips on getting tattooed in another country, keep watching. So the first thing is when to get tattooed on your trip. So like what period of your trip should you get tattooed on? Should you get tattooed in the beginning, right when you get there, or at the end, or in the middle, or it doesn't even matter? So I've been to Korea twice, and the first time I went, I got tattooed in like the middle-ish of my trip. I think I still had like a few weeks left. And then the second time I got tattooed, I think like 4 days or 2 days before I left Korea to come home. So I've gotten tattooed at the beginning and at the end. I've never been tattooed at the beginning of my trip. That might be happening this year, we'll see. But yeah, so my experience with getting tattooed in the middle of the trip, it was annoying. Korea's really hot. Like I go there in the summer and it's freaking hot. If you're going somewhere hot, it sucks. I mean, on the bright side, your tattoo doesn't have to be covered, I guess depending where it is on your body, but I had my ankle tattooed, the back of my neck, and my like bicep right here. And those places were pretty good for the most part. Ankle, I found that sometimes like dirt would get on it, which was disgusting, and I would wash it in like a public bathroom in the subway. It's cleaner than it sounds, but it was still probably not that sanitary. And then like for the back of my neck, I mean, I feel like these things are kind of related to placement as well. So like back of my neck, like we went on a roller coaster and I like didn't want to put my neck against the thing because I thought it was dirty, which like maybe that's just me freaking out, but I found that a lot of my trip became more about protecting my tattoos and worrying about my tattoos, which is something that I think you'll encounter regardless of when you get tattooed. But in the middle, it was definitely like, oh, these last few weeks or like however long left of my trip was like mainly about my tattoos. So like our plans would change because I got tattooed. Stuff like that. But then getting tattooed at the end of my trip, those last couple of days were just about my tattoo. Like I couldn't do anything else. Like the day I got tattooed, I went in at like I think 11 or something. I left at like 1:30. Maybe arrived back to me with my brother like 2-ish. And the rest of the day we just went to a PC cafe and gamed because my arm hurt and I didn't want to do anything else. Also I'm a little bitch, the tattoo wasn't even that big. Yeah. So like I said, I haven't been tattooed at the beginning of the trip yet, but I imagine that it would be similar to getting tattooed sort of in the middle. I think it also has to do with how long your trips are. My trips were around a month. I think like 4.5 to 5.5 weeks-ish, give or take a couple days. So like the first time I went, I think I got tattooed about like 2 weeks in, 2.5 weeks in. Second time I literally got tattooed like 5 weeks in, a couple days before I left. Between the two, I think I recommend getting tattooed more in the middle or beginning-ish of your trip, because my tattoo is actually super patchy and shitty because on the plane I had this fresh ass tattoo and I was wearing this comfy cozy hoodie and it like ripped off the scab and it really affected the healing of it. So I think I would recommend getting tattooed a little bit earlier or sooner So even though it can affect your trip a bit in the long run, it'll help your tattoo. So it's worth it, right? So the next big thing that honestly you should do regardless of where you get tattooed is do your research. Find a reputable artist, find someone, you can scroll through their Instagram and they can do no wrong. Everything you see, you're like, fuck yeah, they killed that shit. Find someone like that. Find someone whose artwork just makes you like feel alive and it touches your soul and it makes your heart smile. Find someone like that. Obviously do your research, just make sure that they know what they're doing. Make sure they're in a reputable shop if you can. You can also check reviews, which just kind of be careful on these. But you can check reviews probably. I was gonna say TripAdvisor, but honestly I don't know if TripAdvisor would have it. But maybe on their website or like Google or something, the shop would have reviews and stuff. But just be careful because some people are just spiteful and leave negative reviews. So read everything with a grain of salt. Oh my gosh, language barrier. So depending on what country you're planning to get tattooed in can depend on this. Obviously, Korea, not all of my artists have spoken English. Luckily for me, I know people that speak both Korean and English, so I can have a translator. But if you don't have a translator, if you're going to a foreign country and they don't speak your language and you don't speak theirs, figure something out ahead of time. Get your Google Translate ready so that you can communicate with them. Talk about everything ahead of time as much as you can. Maybe if you have someone back home that speaks a Russian and you're going to Russia to get tattooed, get them to message the artist first. Make sure everything is as clear as possible because honestly, it's terrifying. You're about to have this thing on your body for the rest of your life. You guys don't speak the same language, so like, good luck. Tattoo laws. So if you're from a country where tattooing is legal, like once you turn 18 you can get tattooed. I think that's like for the most part the rule, like Canada, US, Europe, probably Australia. I feel like it would be. Try and find out what the laws are in the country that you're going to be getting tattooed in. That's actually really important. I know for me, in Canada, once you turn 16, I think you can get tattooed with parents' permission, but then once you turn 18, you can get tattooed on your own. In Korea, you can get tattooed at, I think, 18 or 19. I literally should know this. But the catch with Korea is that only a medical professional can do your tattoo. So if someone who is not a medical professional does your tattoo, it's illegal, sort of. It's like gray zone. They are not allowed to do it, but everyone still does. I don't think I've ever been tattooed by a medical professional, but they view it as like, I guess, almost like a form of surgery or like something like that. Also keep in mind, if you go to a place where the rules are kinda slacking, it can also be reflected in the cleanliness. It can also be reflected in the cleanliness. It can also be reflected in the cleanliness of the shop. Oh my god, I finally said it. So just be careful. Like, go to a shop, if they open up new packages and everything right in front of you, that's what you want. You want a place that is sanitary. Even if you get there, you put down your deposit and everything, and you get there and it's dirty, don't do it. Don't. Like, just don't. $100, yeah, that sucks to lose it. But if that means you don't get freaking AIDS or hepatitis, then just don't do it. For example, I was in this area of Korea called Hongdae, and it's kind of a long story, but basically my nose piercing grew in and I had to get it re-pierced, and I wanted it done in Korea because I knew it would be cheaper than Canada. So I went to a shop and they were offering it for $20, which is insane. That included jewelry. And I watched them pierce a girl's ear right in front of me, and it was literally in the middle of the shop. The piercer did not wear gloves. She didn't even wash her hands. It was just in the middle of the shop on like a desk chair. She just pierced her ear. There's like jewelry counters all around us. People are like walking around, and she just like I just left. She told me to wait around, but I just didn't, and I went and found like a better shop that was cleaner. They used gloves and like disinfectant, and I felt better, and they pierced my nose. I think the biggest problem about getting tattooed in a place where you don't live is the fact that it's going to be really difficult to get a touch-up. Like, very difficult. If you want a touch-up for whatever reason, or you want to add on to the piece or something, you have a couple options. You can A, find an artist that lives close to you that has a similar style that could be willing to work on the project, or B, you can go back to that country, find that same artist, get them to work on it. I guess, or C, if they travel, you could try and hit them up. But not everyone travels, so. I know for me, I have to go back and get my dagger touched up very badly. Like, the detail that was once in it is like literally all gone because I healed it so badly on the frickin' plane. Don't get tattooed at the end of your trip. That's my best advice. But I did hit up the artist and he's like more than happy to fix it up, which thank God. And he definitely doesn't travel, so I'm gonna go out there. Also ask if your artist offers free touch-ups. Like, let's say you're going back in a year or you're going back in a couple of months, and see if they would offer to do the touch-ups for free. I know some artists do if it's within like a short amount of time, but even if it's outside of that time limit, since you live somewhere else, the artist might, you know, still accept you. Another thing is when to book your appointment. You want to book this shit ASAP. As soon as you find out the dates, or even like around the time that you'll be there, message the artist. Let them know right away, even if you don't have the dates. Say, hey, I'll be there for probably beginning of August for a few weeks. I don't know how long exactly, I don't have the dates, but are you free around this time? And if you're flexible, you could even plan your trip around that, which is what I'm doing. And that can help you a lot. That way you have a guaranteed spot and the artist knows that you're coming, and they also know that you can't split it up, hypothetically at least, into multiple sessions because you don't live there. You live somewhere else. So, just a quick little recap. Do not get tattooed at the very end of your trip. Try and aim it for more of the beginning or middle, so you have time to heal up and everything so that your plane ride home doesn't frickin' suck. Find a reputable artist, do research, figure out if they speak your language or not. That's super important. And if they don't speak your language, find a way to communicate with them ahead of time. Search up all the laws of the country regarding tattoos or whatever you have in mind. Find out whether or not your tattoo artist would offer a touch-up if you came back, or if there's someone that lives around you that would offer one up if you need it. And book that ASAP. Like, I can't stress that enough. Book that as soon as you even like feel like you're going. Alright guys, well that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope this video helped. Like I said earlier, I could not find anything on this stuff when I was going. All my advice here is from my own experience. If you have any questions, you can let me know and I will try and answer them. Be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys.